Jeff, that was fun doing the session
It was.
together. Yeah, thank you
was.
for inviting me. But what prompted this, why this session on evaluations, feedbacks, and transitions?
Well, recently we had been seeing just within the GALA community, just an increase in turnover. An increase in turnover with the artistic directors, with executive directors, chorus managers. Just a little more than we normally see, or you just normally expect with people rotating in and out to new opportunities. And that was kind of the genesis for this class, the catalyst for it, just trying to figure out, looking at ways of how can we give ideas on improving communication, between board members, the board of directors, and employees, with the artistic director, the executive director, communication between staff, communication between members of the organization and their volunteers, because we kind of saw that was probably one of the opportunities to work on that probably, caused some of these issues, just lack of communication, lack of setting proper expectations, and miscommunication as a result.
So now we are finding a lot of groups who are looking for new employees.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we help them?
Yeah. Well, I would hope that every organization that is about to go through a major transition with a major executive, whether it's the artistic side or the administrative side, takes a really good look at their mission. Are we living our mission? Are we fulfilling our mission? What does our mission mean to us? Is it still is the wording still appropriate for where we are? Because we can tweak our mission statements. We can work on that. But the board has to be in alignment with the mission statement. And also our core values, which a lot of groups have not identified their core values, and that drives us in how we interact with one another, with our employees, with our membership, within our community. So looking at that and then making sure we have our house in order with policies and procedures so that we're not recreating those every time there's a board turnover, that we have grievance procedures in place, that we have job descriptions for everybody, volunteers all the way up to the board chair, that we have opportunities to evaluate everyone at every level. Has to start at the board and go down through the staff, into the membership, to our volunteers. So all of that structure needs to be in place and pretty stable, I think, before we start bringing in a lot of new employees. What do you think?
Well, it sounds daunting, doesn't it? You kind of look at it wondering, oh my goodness, I have to have all this done and in place. But I think, at the end of the day, I believe this is where a lot of issues with turnover was stemming from the fact that these things weren't in place. About alignment to the mission, even something as simple as do all of your board members know what the mission is? I mean, that's a very fair question. You always have new members coming in and out. Every year you're rotating in new members, changes in volunteers, new singers coming in. It's a constantly moving situation. How do you make sure everyone understands what the mission is? And we found, with my course, we were going through a major transition with a new artistic director coming in. And we immediately saw the need for things like, is our strategic plan updated? Because is our strategic plan ready to go? And are we doing the right things knowing that a new artistic director is going to be coming in? Are we set for that? Is the job description updated, as you said? Because without those things, it's how did we know we were going to get the right person for the organization if we weren't able to communicate to the candidates what we were looking for in terms of where we saw the organization going.
And isn't it interesting if a board of directors cannot articulate what their mission means and how they put that mission into work, how in the world can they expect a brand new employee to produce to the mission? It'd be pretty hard to do.
It would be. It would be. You have a manager or a director just not necessarily, floundering maybe even, just trying to figure out where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to do, and who do they talk to, and if they've got challenges and grievances, what's the process?
Also, evaluations have been a big black hole for GALA Chorus's membership for years. We have significant people in positions in bigger choruses who have never had an evaluation.
Right.
So how do you set goals, and how do you improve, and how do you prevent problems if you're not given, if feedback's not going both ways, from the board to the employee and the employee back to the board. I don't understand how that could work.
I wonder sometimes how it happens. You see this. Well, there are many relationships you could say that a board has with their artistic director, with their executive director, chorus management, or chorus manager. One of those relationships that I think, as you say, I think gets overlooked or maybe even taken for granted, might even be a way of looking at it, is the employer-employee relationship. That I, as an executive director, am an employee of the organization. My employer is the board of directors. And there are just natural rules that govern that relationship in any kind of a work setting. And I think with the nature of our choruses, many of them coming up, just from the ground up, formed on formed over a common need or desire to share music. As that organization continues to grow, I think those things we take for granted, or just the homespun approach of the organization and its creation, doesn't evolve. That holds on. We see the need for these people to come in and lead the organization, but we forget that there are rules that have to be in place to properly manage them.
We focus a lot on this being a family, but
Right.
in reality it's a family business. Yeah, exactly. So it's important to realize that as employees of our choruses, we have the potential of having new bosses every single year. So if evaluations and that kind of communication is not happening on a regular basis, you could get a new boss. It could not go very well. There could be just a clash of personalities, not even work ethic issues. And there's no evaluations from the past to protect the organization or the employee. So yeah, it's just a good thing to talk about and to move toward.
I mean, a good scenario could be the transition of board leadership is a perfect time to think about these evaluations, the formal evaluation, where the outgoing board president and the incoming board president is with the artistic director for the formal evaluation. I mean, it serves two purposes. It sets goals for the employee, but it's an opportunity to share information from one leader to the next as far as what's going on.
Makes sense.
It's otherwise, I think your artistic director or executive director, they're going to find themselves educating the new board chair on what goes on. What do I do on a daily basis? Yes, there are board members who've been there before, but you spend time building that side of the relationship where a nice handover of that information and a chance to talk about it openly is great.
And as GALA choruses, we're different than other choral organizations in our communities. So it's good to recognize that, but also make sure that we've got the business side of it covered too, and making sure that we're communicating well, that transitions that happen peacefully and with respect and dignity. And that never should be surprises. Never should be surprises with how one is doing in their role.
Right. It is true. I know you mentioned that in the session we had on evaluations and feedback, where look at the qualities of our GALA choruses that are the best qualities about inclusiveness, about being open and sharing and being a family and being supportive of each other. And why does that not follow over into the evaluation process? We are unique, we are different. We have a great opportunity to look at evaluation and feedback in a unique and positive way that just continues to set us apart.
That's right.